This is Ivy Lawrence with COM 601, and today I'm going to be discussing my final paper. The title is The Key to Closure, Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close as Equipment for Living. Now, instead of speaking to you about an overview, I'm just going to briefly show you a trailer for Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close, which is the movie I examined in my paper.
My dad said the way I saw the world was a gift, that I was different than everyone else. A great game we played was reconnaissance expedition. He told me to bring back something from every decade in the 20th century. I found something from every decade.
Already. You rock.
So basically, just to fill in the gaps, Oscar had a really special relationship with his father, and then unfortunately his dad was taken away in the horrible tragedies of 9/11, and after an entire year of grieving, Oscar finally ventured back into his father's closet and found a key, and he thought that that was a sign from his dad to go on another expedition. And that's just kind of the general overview, and it really just navigates through Oscar's grief and through other people, the mom and friends and their grief as well. And so that is what this paper seeks to do, is to really expand on Kenneth Burke's theory of equipment for living and prove that by using Kenneth Burke's theory of equipment for living as the basis, I was able to uncover that literature, or film in this case, can be used as a way to help people navigate through grief. So like I mentioned in my literature review, I built upon Kenneth Burke's theory of equipment for living. He began with traditional literature, but people like Jung, Jorgensen, and Turpin applied that theory to film. Perks even suggests that this theory applies to reality TV as well. Black and Burns even say that it's a simulation of social experience via imagination. Essentially, what many of them are saying is that TV and films can help people navigate through emotions and feelings and experiences that they are going through in their lives, and it actually helps them move past failure, and it helps them kind of see how other characters or people handle their same experiences so that they can handle them better themselves. So essentially what I did as far as my method was I watched the movie Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close several times just to understand the basic themes, and then I watched it a last time to specifically pick out the themes that I felt might serve as the best example of equipment for living for viewers who are needing to learn how to grieve the loss of a loved one. And I selected 4 basic scenes, which we'll go into in just a bit. I also chose to use the social penetration theory as the lens to look at this paper. Basically what this is the process of increasing disclosure and intimacy within relationships. Altman and Taylor came up with this theory and developed the 4 stages of relational development. First, orientation, then exploratory effective change, and stable exchange. These aren't necessarily linear, they kind of ebb and flow, and that's very important in this film. And a particularly important aspect of this theory is the rewards and costs. But more important than that is the information that is given and gathered and the predicted rewards and costs. As long as the rewards continue to outweigh the costs, people in relationships will become increasingly intimate by sharing more and more personal information. Next, we move on to the data. In this first scene, Oscar enters his father's closet for the first time. In the second scene, as Oscar ventures out onto his adventure, he thinks back on a time with his father to help him move forward. In the third scene, he finally meets the person who knows where the key goes. And in the fourth scene, his mother and him connect after his journey. And now what we're going to do is dive into those 4 scenes and what they meant. So analysis was Oscar goes into his father's room for the first time. And that really starts to help him take the first step in his journey to recovering from grief. Oscar uses the negative experience to make him better. He had that experience in scene 2 with his father. His father's encouraging him to swing, but he was nervous, he was scared, he didn't want to do it, and he really felt like he let his dad down. So as he's beginning his journey, he's really scared of bridges. But he thinks back on that time with his father where his father encouraged him to do something that he didn't want to do, and he used that memory to make himself better by crossing that bridge and continuing his expedition. In the third scene, Oscar finds someone to share his grief with. The man who knows where the key goes was able to really connect and bond with him. Oscar was able to share about his grief. He hadn't done that at all. And he was also able to find a common bond because the man who knew what the key went to had also lost his father. Oscar also discovers that how he's been feeling is a normal part of the process. And that's what his mom really helps him realize in scene 4. And even though the key didn't turn out to be answers to his father's death, Oscar does realize that the journey was still really important to his closure. Now, in this section, I want to just talk about those lessons that we learned and how those can actually help people in real life. The film is just, it's chock full of great vocabulary and scenarios to help people deal with grief. So there's the normalcy of putting off dealing with a loved one's belongings. This is really hard, and you see in the film how difficult it is, and I feel like that can really help viewers realize that that's a normal part of grief. Second is that introspection is important after losing a loved one. Oscar didn't really look introspectively that much, so you can see the negative effects, but then you also see when he realizes he needs to look introspectively, you see the change and how much it can help him because it helped him make better decisions and become a better person. Then there's also the importance of confiding in someone. You have to confide in people to move past grief and find a person to relate to. That's very important. Things could be worse. One of the things in the scene 3 with the man that Oscar meets who also lost his father, his relationship with his father was awful, absolutely awful, and there wasn't any sense of closure for him because he had a poor relationship with his father. So Oscar was able to realize, and people watching this could be able to realize that, to be able to think about the positive things in their relationship with whoever they lost. And then lastly, don't take the living relationships for granted. If your father passed away but your mother's still living, cling to that, confide in one another, and really develop that relationship. So overall, Burke's theory rings true not only in the pure sense of literature, but in film. And this theory paired with my film was able to uncover a new angle on equipment for living for those dealing with grief. Thanks so much.